Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's Ed Madison, and we are at EMPP headquarters. That sounds so lame when I say it like that. With Scott Roland. Say hello, Scott.
Hello there. My name's Scott Roland. Met Ed about 2005-ish. He asked me to come out, and I almost said axed. He asked me to come out. He asked me to come out and do a little podcast, and so here we are. Probably talk a little bit about rock and roll and a whole bunch of other random crap.
Yeah, so I'm glad he came out. I haven't seen you in forever. I know off camera earlier we were talking about this, but so we met, like you said, right? Where I believe you mentioned that at work, right?
Right.
Yep, and that was when we both worked at Krieger's.
Slinging automobiles.
Yeah, years ago. And while we're talking, getting this set up, I'm actually going to open up. So we're going to jump back to Balvenie, the classic Balvenie 12 that I've used on many podcasts before. And you're not really a Scotch drinker, which is fine.
I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between whiskey and Scotch. I do know the difference between bourbon and whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
One's from Tennessee. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then it can be shipped elsewhere and labeled as a bourbon. Is that about right?
So bourbons can be more than just Kentucky or Tennessee area. They can be in New York. They can be in a lot of different places too. And actually, I believe, and we can fact check this, but I feel like even overseas they're starting to do bourbons instead of whiskeys too, or Scotch or Irish whiskey. So the difference really, a lot of it has to do with, and we can look this up just to verify as I'm pouring this here, but it's how it's made and what it's made with. So
no, I thought it was all the way it was explained to me, and so I thought it was fact was, oh yeah, you can brew it in Tennessee, but it's only in Tennessee if it's going to be a bourbon.
And that's not true then.
Okay.
So let's do this really quick for the fun of it, just to make sure that, and I'm going to utilize this, Scotch versus bourbon.
So yeah, what's the difference between Scotch and...
So if we look up here, and this will be in the YouTube video for those that are not watching, if they're listening on SoundCloud or in the future on another source. Scotch is technically whiskey spelled without the E that has been distilled and matured in Scotland and is made mostly from malted barley. Remember, bourbon is made from corn. That's the big difference then.
Okay.
So like I said, a lot of places are doing the bourbons now too with the corn instead of the malted barley. And then there's, that's really the biggest thing. So the difference between then, not to turn this into all about alcohol, but I don't mind, is that why not? The Scotch or a single malt, then a single malt and a Scotch are, so the single malt has to do with, and if I remember correctly, has to do with, it's from the same distillery. Okay. So you can have a malt whiskey, but it's like different ones are like a blended whiskey, right? So let's like Johnny Walker's and all those that are all blended whiskeys. They're not really Scotch. I don't know if they're really Irish whiskey. They're just like, they just blend a bunch of whiskeys from all these places, right? And do their own little creation. I guess the bottom line is though, is from Scotch to bourbon, it's what it's made from. And for me is, so I don't know if I've talked about this before on a podcast or if, and I know we didn't talk about this earlier. So the reason why I started checking this out, and by the way, cheers.
Cheers. Saluting.
Cheers.
Good gentleman cups here.
Yeah. Boardwalk Empire. So I don't know if you do anything on, like I said, give it a couple sips. You'll get there. So.
Yeah. I'm not a whiskey, Scotch, bourbon drinker. That stuff is, whew.
That could be our screen, the still shot for the cover of the video.
I'll be making a few more faces till it warms me up.
You know what? It's a little chilly, and I know I don't want to jump all over the place, but it was flurries here earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's October 12th.
Yep.
That's depressing.
I didn't work today. I've been off for a while, and I was sitting on the phone, and I'm like, God dang it, is it spitting outside? Yep, it's snowing. About 45 minutes. October 12th. It's jacked.
It's awful. That's a really tough situation to swallow right there because I feel like we've been so good. We've gotten so lucky, have we not, in the past few years, it seems like?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we didn't get any snow. What was it, last year or 2 years ago? Not until like December, December. Like maybe right around Christmas, was it?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, they haven't been heavy snows.
Yeah.
We haven't had like a good 12-inch snow the past few years. They've all been like 3 inches here, 3 inches there. Enough just to be a pain.
Either way, snow's a little depressing, but we understand that's part of the gig here in the Quad Cities area.
This is true.
Or even the Midwest for that reason, too.
Yeah.
So before I forget, what was I talking about a few seconds ago? Oh, so we talked about that you haven't really drank any of this before, but I told him earlier off camera, if he just gives it a couple sips, it'll go down pretty smooth. And at the end of it, you'll probably be feeling pretty good.
I like booze, so we'll be all right.
Booze is good.
Yeah.
And so what else is good in your life? So I haven't seen you in a long time. We talked about, we met back at Krieger's years ago.
05-ish.
Slinging metal, moving metal, right?
Yep. Spent a lot of time when we'd be slow and we'd go over product knowledge where you would inform me. We'd go through cars on what they did and didn't have.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd kind of quiz me because doing car sales was rough.
Yeah.
For me, it was rough. I didn't exactly enjoy it all that much, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Ironically enough, turned out for me, I end up doing that now for a living too. Right.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. I basically I'm an auditor for McDonald's.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually check on the cheese and the chocolate milk cartons now.
Okay.
Anything dairy related is usually what I gravitate towards.
But what about whole milk? Do you check the whole milk? You said chocolate milk, and
if it says whole milk on the carton, it's not whole milk. Yeah, you may be getting cheated on that one. Kids, if you're getting milk at McDonald's, you might as well just get pop instead. It could be that dangerous. No, I'm kidding. Of course it's not. Please don't fire me. Please don't fire me, McDonald's. So we worked at Krieger's doing that. But before that, though, this is something that I feel like I don't remember a lot of, but I'd be interested in knowing more about. You were in radio before.
Yep.
And which radio station were you with?
It started off in like 95. I worked for Dwyer and Michaels for the main hall in Q106.5. I was kind of like their stunt bitch boy.
Oh, yeah.
Is what I did. And it started off, I was graduated high school in 94, worked in a shop, manufacturing shop. They went on the radio and said, hey, our stunt boy quit and we need somebody. And it was like on a Friday. And everybody in the shop's like, dude, you want to go on radio? Do it, call them. And I called them. And they said, yeah, come on in Monday. They were joking. I was serious. I showed up Monday morning. Anyway, and then I ended up being their stunt boy more or less for 3 or 4 years on and off. I was going to community college. Did like weekends, overnights, classic rock. Ended up getting into the production end of things, writing commercials, producing commercials, doing that sort of thing. And then I went into sales for a short while.
Advertising.
Advertising and marketing, and then ended up slanging the sheet metal with you.
Okay.
So so a lot of crazy stuff we did with Dwyer and Michaels. It was a lot of fun. It was cool being young, 19, 20, 21 years old, and like being a part of like a crazy popular radio station. Yeah, it was insane. It was.
What was your name back
then? Tattoo.
That was your name.
That was my radio name. Was Tattoo. Yes.
So if we looked up on Google, is that okay to see if we find a picture?
Yeah, you could try.
All right, but keep talking though. So tell me while I'm looking this up, what does a tattoo guy or a stunt guy do?
Well, it was more. I was kind of the bitch boy. I'd I rode a pink moped to Sturgis.
All the way to Sturgis?
Well, not all the way. We put it in the van. It sounded really good on radio. It really wasn't that crazy, but yeah, we rode around Sturgis. Girlfriend at the time, now my wife. We did that. I went down to the Olympics and got behind Al Roker and did the Macarena on Today's Show broadcast. A lot of crazy stuff around town, just silly stuff. It was a lot of fun.
So what would tattoo? How would I Google search this?
Go DWYER.
Of course I misspelled that. Yes. DWYER.
And then maybe put Q106.5 in there.
Q106.
Yeah.
0.5. And
Nope, I didn't make it.
Didn't make it in the Google search, or at least not on the first page.
It's been a while. I mean, I haven't worked in radio since 04 and haven't worked for or with them guys for a long time.
Any of those look familiar up there?
No.
Again, for those that are just listening, we're basically checking out a Google search with see if we found some pictures of him from back in the day.
Oh yeah, nice face tattoos on that clown.
Oh yeah, all kinds of good stuff. I guess tattoo was part of that Google search. All right, so you did stunts, some fun stuff. And you basically moved on, and you did some sales and So you sold ads and then you came to Krieger's. And why did you come to Krieger's? Do you remember why?
The radio, I'm not a good salesman, so the radio thing wasn't working out that well. And then I had a friend, Chad Aarons, was working down at Krieger's.
That's what it was.
And then he's like, well, we're always looking for salespeople. Why don't you come down? And I was like, man, it's Muscatine. I live in Moline. And it was kind of like, why not? What the hell? Let's do it.
Sure.
And I was also I was kind of in a transition period because I was trying to get in the job that I'm currently in.
Oh,
and I had like the hiring process, it takes about a year. So it was kind of right in that year. And it's kind of like, I felt like I was going to get hired there. So anyway, so I gave the selling cars a whirl, and it was a learning experience.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I could be a part of that experience.
Yeah, there's cool people I met.
Yeah.
I mean, we worked with you for a little bit, for a few months, but then I got shipped down to the south end of town.
I remember that with Bill Lechner.
With
and all
Bill
them.
and Todd and Louie.
Yes, I remember that.
And that was we were a bunch of screwballs. I mean, because that was just
at the beach.
At the beach, yes.
Yes.
$10,000 or less, you can find yourself a nice automobile.
Now that is, I believe, in Muscatine. That used to be the Krieger Super Saver Lot area, now, or was a Super Saver
lot? Yeah.
Now it's a DNR or state of Iowa, some kind of state building now. Down there. They bought it and they store stuff down there. There's no vehicles in the parking lot that I remember.
Right.
You know, if that's wrong, please in the comments let me know. But
that part of town was it had its moments, but after they closed up that shop, somebody stole the damn air conditioner from out back of the building because they needed that scrap metal.
I mean, scrap metal may have been pretty high at that point, right?
I think it was, but yeah.
Well, I mean, even if it wasn't high enough, I mean, some people are desperate, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rough times
Call for desperate measures.
That's right.
Like stealing air conditioners.
And now if you notice, I'm random, so we are going to get random with this.
Let's do it.
If you notice, if you go around some places, I've seen it at churches, they'll put chain link fences around their air conditioners.
Do they really?
Yeah, I've seen it down in the west end of Davenport. So like there is some metal in them damn air conditioners.
Should I do that with mine here too?
I don't know. You live in a pretty nice neighborhood, but you never know.
He doesn't mean nice neighborhood. It's an okay neighborhood.
It's nice. Come on, Ed.
It's okay.
I don't want to give them neighborhood.
I don't want to give them the wrong impression or anything like that. You know. Absolutely not. Because McDonald's doesn't pay that well.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So, all right. So they're trying to safeguard their air conditioners.
Right. So they lock them up.
Well, I know air conditioners aren't cheap.
No, I mean, there's a lot of copper in there.
I mean, just buying a new one.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're pricey. I haven't had to buy one in a couple of years.
Let's hope you're not going to have to, right?
No, nobody steals it.
No, absolutely not. Let's just assume that nobody's going to steal your air conditioner. Okay.
Right, okay. Back to...
But you sold though, and you sold at the Super Saver lot,
right?
And then past that now, and we don't have to get into your current position, but now you're moved on to the job that you were trying to go for, basically. Right. So since you now have moved on, since when I met you, right, in that time frame, what have you been up to? What's the biggest things that you've been doing in your life that have been fun for you?
Family stuff, you know. Got kids, and I had kids then, younger kids then. Now I like what I do, my favorite thing to do is bicycle, like mountain bike, road bike. That's like the thing, you know, and you get all worked up at work and you're like, oh, and that's my release, you know, like maybe for you, it's music. Everybody's got their thing. And mine is going out and grinding.
That's cool. And I respect that. So I have a hardtail Trek out in the garage. It's typically hung up, but because I was actually using it earlier this year a little bit, it's on the other side of my truck in the garage there. Yeah. I'll show you when we're done. I believe it's 4 Series is what it is. It's a Trek 4 Series that I bought at Salvation Army. You get there early, you get the good deals, kids. Hey. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Bikes aren't cheap?
No, they're not. And the funny thing is, for how much I spent on this, I feel like I need to use it more. But it's a hardtail mountain bike. I love it. I think it's great. It's a 4 Series. It's like, God, I bought it new. I don't even remember when this is it. I mean, that's exactly.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's not mine, but I mean, that's.
You got yourself some disc brakes on it?
They have disc brakes.
There you go.
That's the exact same bike, except you can see on the handles. I don't know what the hell those things are.
Those are called bar ends. They were really popular in the 90s, not so much now.
You know what I like about this podcast? I learn things.
Well,
so bar ends?
Bar ends, yes.
So the bar ends, what the hell is the reason for having a bar end on that bicycle handle?
I had them on old Gary Fisher I used to have, but mainly when you were hand positioning, if you ride long, your hands get numb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lots of time with those, they'd use them when you'd climb a hill. You'd grab the ends of them so you could get up over your front wheel and really like pull down while you're pushing down on your pedals.
Okay.
So that was kind of, but the bad thing about them is if you're riding through the woods, they hook really, really good on trees.
Oh yeah, that could be really bad.
So yeah. So if you're on some single track and you get, which you do, you scrape your bars on trees a lot.
Sure.
And you get a little too close, that's going to hook and shoo.
So this is what I would like to do. I would like to find somebody to do this with, and I would be an awful person to take along. So I know I need to branch out on my own first and do some solo stuff, but I would totally love to take my bike, even though that may not be the best hardtail mountain bike out there. I would love to find some like mountain bike trails.
I'll take you anytime.
You mean that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anybody that wants to try it, like that's new to it, I'll take them.
So you have to start me off on it. Is it like the ski slopes where you have different logos let you know which ones are
green, blue, and black?
I totally just winged that. I didn't know.
That was nice.
So,
good call.
Yeah,
good call.
What other downhill activities could or well, I guess it's not necessarily downhill though.
No, but that's generally how they rate the trail system. It's a green, blue, black.
Okay, green, blue, and black. So green for me, obviously.
Right.
Obviously.
Well, yeah. There's good spot. I'll take you.
The craziest obstacle I've ever had to go on is like a curb here in Durant, and some of the curves are not that nice. I'm just saying. Some of the sidewalks, not that nice. Sometimes there isn't even a sidewalk for a small portion.
Then you just got to go out in the street like a wild man.
And, well, then no. Then I feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of a hardtail mountain bike, right? It's a mountain bike. I'm not really off-roading with it, but a little bit of gravel and grass here and there. It makes me feel like a champion.
The way you travel for McDonald's.
Yes.
The way I understand it, as much as you travel, you could probably find some sick places to ride in your downtime.
Yes. When I'm on the road, you're saying.
Right, when you're on the road, yeah.
So I have found that recently that, and especially one of the usual places that I go to in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and which I am going to be going there again soon, they do have a really nice, in La Crosse, they have a really nice kind of bike trail, walking trail.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of doing it. The problem is now I'm going to be like thinking, well, if it's snowing outside already, I really have no desire to be out biking.
Yeah.
So, but I need to. I want to.
Springtime,
for sure.
Springtime.
And I did a good job of like pulling it out of the ceiling in the garage earlier this year because it was on hooks and I never really rode it.
Right.
And then I'm like, all right, so I'm riding it a little bit. It was helping me kind of, lose a few pounds here and there. I just need to write it more. So if there's an opportunity, and I'm going to keep in touch with you on this too. Sure. I would love to just check out once go with you somewhere.
Okay. And there's some, I don't know how your cardio is. There's some flat spots.
It's awful.
Oh, that's fine. You'll fit right in. There's a few places around the Quad Cities. There's 6 or 7 really good trail systems, but some of them are flatter than others that are better, more suited for beginners.
Well, it doesn't have to be completely flat. I mean, I'm okay with a little bit of, little action up and down. Right. Or I don't know if I should be jumping or anything
There's not a lot of jumps.
Sure. If you want to jump some things, I would totally like get some like action shots for you, but you have, and this is part of the reason I want to talk about the biking thing with you too, is because you've done some pretty cool videos. Now, you've posted, and I'm going to post if he's okay with it, I'm going to post his Instagram or whatever YouTube page he's got to share his stuff because he's doing a lot with video that I find is really cool. So when you're doing the bike stuff, are you still using GoPros? Or?
Yeah, I have a couple GoPros. I just ordered a Hero 7. I don't know if you've seen any of the hype videos on those.
Explain it to me.
It's the newest GoPro.
So what makes it better though?
The image stabilization from what I've seen is okay. Because everybody buys a GoPro and you think it's the coolest damn thing, and you go out and you put it on your helmet or you put it on your body and you get the video and it's just shaky, and you're like, and you watch it and you're like, wow, I really don't do that cool shit. And then you got a half hour of yourself skiing, biking, running, whatever. And then the editing comes in, which we talked about earlier. Yeah. But the Hero 7 has good stabilization and a lot of low light. Like when you get low light, when you get in the woods or dark, it's kind of grainy and hard to see. And some of that's just figuring out camera settings, which is a whole nother thing. But yeah, I got 2 GoPros and it's just, yeah.
So where do you mount the GoPros? Helmet and?
Usually chest.
Usually
a chest mount because your body absorbs all the shaking and the vibrations.
Sure.
What I've found is when you do it on your helmet, you're doing a lot of this, looking back
Oh,
and forth, left and right, up, down, which can be cool. But let's say if you put it to a 20-inch monitor or even bigger, man, it could get kind of, people that can't handle that much motion, it gets them kind of,
motion sickness.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So have you ever done two different cameras so you can like pick your, so I know the folks that are watching this on YouTube, they can't see this, but you've seen the camera angles. I got 3 different cameras here and I just pick which one I want to use, right? Whoa. Anyway, maybe I can do something fun with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so is there any way you've ever done like a helmet and a chest or 2 at once?
Yeah, I've tried it. It's kind of tough to, like, you got to line it up in post.
Right. Yep.
But you can do like something cool, like picture-in-picture type deal where you in your monitor.
That'd be cool
Or you
too.
do a split
Yeah.
screen. And these are things that I've just started playing with.
Yeah.
And I'm not as, like, I've been off work, so I'll watch a bunch of videos online. I'm like, I want to go ride my damn bike. I'm going to make something cool. I'm going to create something. And then it's rainy and crappy out.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
but yeah, so there's lots of things you can play with and you can get different camera angles. But that point of view, that first person, it's kind of tough. It you know what I mean? If you want to like tell a story or show, because, you know, it's not as immersive as what you think.
So it's better to have it on
Yeah,
the
it's better to
chest.
have on your chest because it stabilizes a lot better when you're on a bicycle, on a mountain bike or a bike in general.
And I feel like if you're on like a motorcycle, for instance, where I've seen a lot of those videos too,
Yeah.
you have to have it up here because you got the fairing
Right.
and everything directly in front of
Right.
you, right? So it blocks a lot of
Yeah.
everything.
And if like I've been out in Colorado at the ski places where they turn it to downhill mountain bike places in the summer.
Oh, cool.
And put it on a helmet there. It's beautiful because you're wearing a full faced helmet. And it's heavy.
Okay.
And you have it strapped down really tight. Where the helmets we wear here, they're strapped down, but they're, you know, you got like an extra pound here and your helmet's all doing one of these, you know,
Yeah,
tilting
yeah.
to the side. So it,
Are those ATV helmets? Is that what they are?
yeah, they're motorcycle full on. Well, they're a little lighter. They're probably more like a BMX helmet if I had to guess.
Okay.
But they're full face, you know, heavier duty than say a typical bicycling helmet that you would get. So anyway, yeah, but
That's cool.
yeah.
I mean, I remember like helmets wearing those growing up or being over in Illinois City, Illinois, where I used to ride like ATVs all the time and stuff. I had a couple of really nice ones. God, I can't remember the brand. I feel like Bell was always the brand that I always bought for helmets, and I feel like that's what it was. So yeah, I would love to go just check out like just once if I can, you know, tag along one time.
Oh, anytime.
Be that guy. I mean, like, you know, if your other friends are there, be like, yeah, he's just new.
No,
just
we're
ignore
all
him,
old,
so.
we're all old and slow.
Old and slow. Wait, how old are you?
42.
Okay, you're a little bit older than me, but not much older
No,
than me.
there's
so.
there's a couple guys older than me that I regularly ride with,
Yeah.
but it's not a contest. You know what I mean? Everybody's out there enjoying their own ride. Some people do treat it like a contest, but generally, you know,
I will not. I will not. I will be grateful just to get to the end with you.
Yeah.
I will be grateful if I got to the end of whatever route we're taking and you look behind yourself and I'm there. I just don't want to be that guy that's like, I got this. I'm coming, guys. No worries.
There ain't no shame in walking. There's no shame in walking up a hill.
Well, there's shame in walking if your tires are in good shape. But if you had like a flat tire and you had to walk it up, then there's no shame for me.
You'd be good. We'd go to flat spots, so
Right.
you wouldn't be able to use the hill as an excuse of why you're walking. You'd just be, this
Green.
hurts, man. This
Green.
hurts.
So green, blue,
Green, blue, black.
black.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that what it is with skiing?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But is it like shapes too?
I think
Triangles and
diamond,
shit
black
like that?
diamond.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just sounds expensive and dangerous.
Are you a skier? Did you try the skiing a little bit in your younger years?
So in the younger years, for those that aren't familiar with this area, we have what's called Snowstar. Is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
So Snowstar, I definitely, hit Snowstar up back in the day when I was younger, and even out of high school a couple of times too, I feel like. And God, I remember going to Snowstar and skiing back in the day when I had like the what were those starter winter coats where they were pullovers and had like the pouch up front.
Yeah.
I always remember a sport, when you went to school, you had the little, what was it, where when you went skiing, they gave you a sticker,
pass, the lift
pass. Yeah,
Yeah.
always left those on.
Oh, absolutely.
All the cool kids left them
Hell
on.
yeah.
Yeah. So Snowstar a little bit,
Yep.
but not religiously. I feel like I would love to go No, I cancel that. I wouldn't. I don't feel like I want to go today because I feel like if I did hurt myself, it would just be bad. Because I don't. It's just me. For my household and my family, my boys especially, they rely on me. So if something happened to me on a ski or a slope, I'd feel pretty awful.
But if you don't get hurt and the fun you have, is freaking worth it.
Sure. Either way, can I drink scotch when I'm done?
I don't see why not. While you're done, why not? Well, it's cold outside.
Well, yeah.
You can make a few pit stops in the ski lounge, and
I was gonna say, besides when I'm done, but I was thinking like the mountain biking. I was gonna say it earlier. The little water thing that's down on the rail there. Can I fill that with scotch? Is that okay?
Nobody's stopping you.
I mean, I gotta drive, so I probably won't. But I mean, that'd be fun though.
I haven't seen any rules against it. So I'm sure he'd be good. The thing about boozing and biking,
yes,
your balance really, really sucks when you're boozing.
Is it? I mean, I guess that makes sense. And I mean, I suppose
I love biking and I love boozing. Yeah, and I usually don't mix the two.
Yeah. So speaking of boozing, how you doing over there?
Oh, I'm still acquiring a taste for this scotch.
Yeah. Single malt scotch. Yes. So single malt from the same distillery and. Are you doing okay on that one?
Yeah,
Again,
I'm good.
Was that the second or third sip?
That was third or fourth.
Oh, okay. So it'll get easier and easier as you go.
Yeah.
You're taking it like a champ. You're doing good.
Well, first one's always rough, man. Whiskey, and it's not as bad as a dirty tequila or something like that.
No. You know what the great thing is about this? This is what I remember talking about earlier is Boardwalk Empire is what got me into just checking this out, because have you heard of Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah. Didn't Marky Mark, wasn't he the producer behind it?
Yes, he was.
Right.
Buscemi was.
Yep.
Main. And they were basically bringing on all this, scotch or whiskey over. And I'm like, I'll check it out. And for health reasons too, it's better for me than beer, because I was drinking at the time all these double IPAs and one after another. I'm like, holy cow, I'm bloated, I'm drinking a lot of that stuff. And then I found that with scotch, actually, with that malt barley, way they do it, it's actually not bad for you. It's just some calories, but there's like nothing else in it. I mean, there's nothing really awful in it for you.
I really like how you justified that.
I know, right?
That's good. That was good.
Google it, everybody. I'm not kidding. It's good for you. It's just the only shits is that it's kind of a little bit more pricier to drink it, but or at least the better ones. I mean, I can go out and buy a $30 bottle, but it's like, when was the last time you bought? Do you remember back in your younger years too? Do you remember when you bought a $10, $12 bottle of vodka?
Younger years? Shoo! That's just a couple weeks ago. For me. No, I do, yeah.
Yeah.
A plastic jug of vodka.
Yeah, exactly.
That just tasted like freaking ethanol.
Oh,
not that I've ever
awful.
tried ethanol, but I assume that it would taste something like the Hawkeye vodka or some plastic jug of vodka before everything came in plastic.
You almost have to assume that's what it would taste like. I don't know. I feel like, I can't do that. I just don't like diarrhea. That's the thing. So
I think the bulimic people are the only people that really like diarrhea.
That's true.
Well, I don't know if is it bulimia or anorexia? Which one? Yeah.
I don't know. Wait, don't they both throw up?
They throw up or they don't eat, and then some of them try to they'll take them like the internet weight loss things. You probably got them friends, or like they like their social media accounts have become like how they try to they try to sell crap, and it's I put this patch on my skin and I take these supplements and I can eat this whole Big Mac. It's no, you just shit it out later. It's anyway.
I mean, if that's like a weight loss miracle thing, I'm not saying I'm on board with it, but I mean, if I need to cut weight or anything for a match coming up. Yeah, because I'm not in the UFC. I'm not in the UFC. Not to take another turn here, but did you watch the Conor McGregor?
I'm glad you brought this up, because I have been like a soap opera. I've been watching this shit like a soap opera. I rarely get the fights.
Keep going, because I'm gonna pour a little more.
They totally got me hook, line, and sinker, and I love MMA. But the first time someone put a ninja toe lock on me, I'd be tap, 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 tap. I'm down. Yeah. But yeah, I watched that whole thing. I watched the pre-fight. I watching YouTube videos leading up to it. Yeah. It was fun.
Nice. So I'm not going to lie. You want to see so did you pay to watch it?
I paid to watch it.
Don't hate. This is what I did to watch it.
Are you-
Some dude on Twitter actually, he was recording it from his phone, and I shamefully watched it. Okay. But at the same time, though, just like the Floyd Mayweather situation, I really wasn't surprised he lost. I know back in the day, Conor, he was really good at, his record was really good, right?
Yeah.
What, he only lost a couple of times or a few times or something?
And I think he still is good.
He's probably still great, right?
Yeah.
But it's like anything else. There's always going to be somebody else, right?
Right.
There's always going to be somebody younger, more,
Yep.
more probably wants it more. Hungrier. Is hungrier the way?
I think this was just a style thing. I think if Conor gets in with another striker, it's going to be a great match.
Okay, but because he took him to the ground.
Khabib's just like ground and pound, beats the shit out of you, takes you down.
Does he do that with all of his
Oh
opponents?
yeah, he's like known for I don't know a lot about it, but yeah, he's been wrestling since he was a kid. There's like videos on the internet of him legitimately wrestling a bear.
Oh,
when he's a kid, he's probably like a teenager.
I gotta look that shit up later. So that's awesome.
Yeah, Khabib is like, and it's a cub, but
still though,
that's what he does to everybody.
I mean, how much does a cub weigh? Like a couple 100 pounds?
I don't know. I as a full grown man, I would not get near a baby bear.
I'm gonna get near any bears
You
because
know.
mama's nearby.
Well,
right?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Gonna
exactly.
mess you up.
Exactly. So, all right. So you watched it though,
Yeah, watched it.
and anything else to take away from that particular fight?
Well, besides the craziness that happened afterwards, where Khabib jumped out in the crowd and went after Conor's jiu-jitsu coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. That unfortunately, Derek Lewis, one of the other guys on the card, said he took his shorts off. Joe Rogan comes in and says, "Why?"
That was awesome.
Because my
Yes.
balls are hot.
Yes. I saw that, and I saw the memes and stuff afterwards too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a horrible fight, but it landed that dude a title shot.
Yeah. And he seems like a pretty fun guy
he's
too,
hilarious.
right?
He's always been funny as shit. But yeah, he was totally getting his ass handed to him. And then 10, 11 seconds left, he lands the one.
Just the right one.
Just the right one. Knocks him out.
Oh my
has a
gosh.
post-fight interview. Gained like 400 million or 40 million Instagram followers because of that post-fight interview.
Because Joe mentioned
Yeah.
that his Instagram was whatever.
Yeah. And then
what
he had
said.
that. He just lit up that interview, and yeah, it was funny.
That's hilarious. I remember seeing all that too. So that was fun. It brought me back. So I was, catching how he was freaking out. What is it? The weigh-in where he was like, Conor was overacting and, like kicking at him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember like the Floyd Mayweather drama and stuff where they did like the tour. And
Yeah.
they hit all the cities. Some of my most favorite things to watch was him just like trash talking him.
Yeah.
Conor trash talking Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
And Floyd really not having much to come back with. But of course, in the end, still,
Yeah.
Floyd still wins. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think let me ask you an honest opinion, because I know you said you like UFC though, and that's
Right.
fine. And I don't dislike it or I don't love it. It's just kind of like I'm that guy from the outside, just kind of
Yeah,
checking in
yeah.
every now and then. Is that all legitimized? Is that all true? Is that all 100% for sure? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If it's not, that would be one of the biggest smoke shows in history.
Okay. All right.
I would think.
I'm just curious. I don't know.
Nobody knows. I mean, like it's kind of gotten to that professional level with all the shit talking and some of the
Hilarious.
Yeah, and some of the shady matchups. But I don't know. Even with professional wrestling, even though it's fake, those some big ass dudes jumping really high and landing on each other.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not really a wrestling fan. When I was a kid, I was.
Sure.
But regardless, if it was fake, god damn, could you imagine the documentary 20 years from now about how they fooled everybody?
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
But so hopefully it's not, because I have been into it this past week like a soap opera.
That's cool. Yeah.
But it's just been, time to kill.
Respect. I think it's great. And I was legitimately curious as, what your thoughts were on the whole thing. And I just, I was that week of is where I caught most of it. And that night I was, I wanted a piece. So I found some dude streaming it on Twitter, which was fun. And I'm like, all right. And then, and then I caught all the aftermath basically too. And whatever it is, I mean, I don't mean whatever it is UFC fighting, and I feel like it's legit too, but I hear other people talking about, is this rigged because the guy jumps over the cage at the end and makes a spectacle out of it, and does that mean it's legit then,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of fun to watch though.
And like I said, I couldn't tell you the difference between a Darce choke and a rear naked choke, all that. like to see two guys beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fighter. I've never had that in me.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, yeah, get him, kick his ass, get him. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you have a couple drinks too when you're watching it?
God, yes.
Yeah. So what is typically, so you're not drinking scotch with me. What is your drink of choice?
I brought a little something with me, Ed, and this leads me perfectly into it.
Oh my gosh.
And I know you're going to turn your nose up at it.
Oh shit. What do you get?
God. Do these need coasters?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I don't even care. So I think I know where you're going with this, but go ahead and explain yourself. Explain yourself, young man.
Okay, here's the deal. I'm not a beer snob. I like all beers. I like the double IPAs, but tried and true, I always go back.
Sure.
Miller Lite.
This is the fanciest looking setup in a Miller Lite that I have ever seen. And I know if my mom is watching this, which I don't know if she watches these or not, I know she's a Miller Lite fan. So
Smart lady.
I've never seen one of these in her fridge though. So
No?
I'm like taken back by how awesome this. Did you have to sit in a cooler down there?
No,
Oh, you just brown bagging it?
I went to the Casey's beforehand. And
up the street.
up
there?
the street, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Casey's is a gas station convenience store, by the way. So
it's some of the best pizza in small town everywhere in Iowa.
it's debatable, but we'll get to that
Well,
later.
okay,
So,
yeah.
All right. So you brought a Miller Lite. Is this a chaser for the scotch? Is that what
It
it's
might
supposed
be.
to be?
It might be. I was going to do a video before this, leading up to it, and
Okay.
I was going to be in preparation of Ed Madison's podcast, and I was going to have some fancy whiskey and smoked cigar out in my porch, and
Yeah.
there was something else. I was going to play my guitar while doing all this.
That would have been hilarious.
Well,
that would have been hilarious.
Maybe I'll follow up. Maybe
Okay.
I'll put something together,
That'd be all right.
because when I go on your Instagram,
Yeah.
that's generally what you do.
It's my thing.
I was going to go to a car lot and stand next to a fancy sports car because you like fancy sports cars at McDonald's.
Yes, the best are at McDonald's, especially on Sundays after they get done. Well, no, that wouldn't make much sense. I feel like the church crowd heads over to McDonald's. Maybe. No, not even that. Not even that. I don't know. So I work in the back of the building, so I don't see all the action. I'm either in the bathroom or in the back of the kitchen checking to see how many slices of cheese are there.
Okay.
So I'm a little on the complicated side. I don't get up front, but I feel like though you brought this Miller Lite. Like, I did not know this was going to happen. I feel like you had this Instagram post too once where you shared that somebody left some Miller Lite at a
gas station.
At a gas pump. Where was that at? Which gas pump was that?
I think it was Casey's in Bettendorf.
In Bettendorf, Iowa.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, I understand why. So we got to drink this because I feel like if you brought it, we have to drink. This is a first on my podcast, something that's drank that isn't coffee, espresso, or scotch. This is a big moment for me because I almost feel dirty. But you know what though?
You should feel like a man. You should feel American. There we go.
Toast. All right, there we go. Oh yeah. I mean, I've had Miller Lite before. It's been a while. This is I like. You know what I like? I like the pint presentation.
Isn't it kind of? I think all of them went to that.
Oh, they all do this now?
You can buy like a 9 or 10 pack of 16 ounces.
How many carbs does this have? No, I'm just kidding.
The scotch is much better for you.
No, it is. Google it. Just saying. I'm going to keep drinking this. This is awesome. Thank you for bringing a gift. Nobody's ever brought a gift before. So.
Well, I was thinking of you, I guess. I could have brought 40s because I am a fan of the 40-ounce beer.
Yeah, the 40s.
The 40s, like a glass 40 of Miller Lite.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because
it's
just the right amount.
It's just the right amount.
Like if it's a Friday and you got something planned for tomorrow, and you're like, I don't want a headache tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you throw down that 40 and you're good to go. That's just my personal opinion.
I completely will not judge you for saying that either. I think it's awesome.
That's just how I roll, Ed. I came up listening to Eazy-E and NWA. That's the same face I made when I had the scotch.
You know what's funny? I just burped. I just realized I burped, and I can't remember the last time I burped after drinking something alcoholic. That is awesome.
Yeah, so.
Well, we'll stick with it.
All right.
Stick with it. It's okay. This is a role reversal right here. Is what's going on. Role reversal, Miller Lite, and I'm okay with it. And it's, people are going to see this, and it may be on TMZ tomorrow. You never know, but
It'd be something
for you, not for me,
Not
of
for me,
course.
not for me.
No. All right, so let's get back.
Okay,
to
where were we at before?
Gift was great. We're gonna definitely. Did we show? We'll hold this up really quick. This would be a good still shot for afterwards too. Yeah. All right. One more toast.
Salute.
So we were talking mountain biking. We were talking cameras, right? I don't know.
GoPros, yeah.
Right. So GoPro, the Hero 7.
Hero 7.
Image stabilization or video stabilization is what's going on.
It's supposed to be better low light.
What are we running on those GoPros? Are they doing like, is it 4K now or how's that work?
They're shooting 4K at 60 frames per second, I think.
That's pretty good instead of 30, right?
Yeah.
So these that we're using for the podcast, for those that are watching on YouTube, I mean, they're HD, they're full HD, but they're not 4K. Post though, when I process them or render them, it gives me, all kinds of options. But what were you going to say?
But I think when you go to YouTube, I think 1080 is only the highest you can go. So generally I'll only shoot 1080. Slow motion, I'll go like 720, 120 or 240 frames per second.
Okay. Just
so you can slow it down better and it looks more buttery smooth.
Yep.
But usually I only go 1080. Sometimes I'll go up like 2.7K. It's kind of in between 1080 and 4K.
Okay.
But I think when you put it up on YouTube, there's a beer burp, sorry.
I know.
I think it only goes as high as 1080, but I'm not positive.
I feel like that's it too. And not like I'm trying to pull up one of my own videos for shameless self-promotion.
No, shamelessly self-promote.
Shameless. Let's go to the last one with Mr. David Crenshaw.
This is David.
We'll go to the HD auto. It's autoing to 720 instead of 1080. Well, that's because it's not full screen. That's probably why, right?
I don't know. Plus, my other thought process on it is you're usually looking at them on your phone, and if there's something 720 on your phone, it looks dynamite.
Oh, and just really quick, this one, anytime I do a hotel recording, it's not these.
Oh, okay.
It's my Google Pixel 2 XL.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So that's what's doing the video. And it's funny because I cut my head off on this one. I didn't even realize it. So yeah, you're right. 1080p. Is that what it said?
Yeah, 1080p.
Yeah, 1080p.
And I'm not super techie. I don't understand a lot of these things.
Sure. I mean, no, I'm trying to learn. That's the thing, is that I know that these are not 4K, but they do a pretty good job. So you're using these here. You got one on the way?
Yeah, I got two. I got a 4 silver that I was using with the drone, and then I got a Session, which is like a small cube.
But the 7 though.
Yeah, I got a 7 on the way.
7's on the way, right? Yeah. So when is that going to be here?
GoPro's being fun. They had like a trade up program where you send in an old camera, they give you $100 off, and it's been processing since September 25th.
Okay.
So yeah, right now I'm like waiting for the FedEx guy or waiting for something to happen because I thought I'd have it by now. But anyway, it should be here.
For a tracking code?
Yeah.
Tracking number? Yep.
Which is something. Yeah. Anyway, I could go on about that too, about tracking codes. How it used to be, you used to get mail and you just be like, okay, my mail's coming. But now you're like, oh my God, where's it at? Where's it at?
I know, right? Exactly. Checking those tracking numbers, waiting to see.
Yep.
The most fun for me, I'm like that too, especially with musical equipment.
Yep.
Because that's like the most exciting moments for me. And I've cut down a lot. I used to, get more than I've gotten recently because I finally reached that point in my life. And I don't, it's hard to reach that in something you're into. Like we talked earlier about electronics and, that's like that rabbit hole, like with electronics and smart home stuff where you get going. It's like, oh my God, there's something else or something else or something else. Even for me, I feel like the lights are the next thing. I don't have any of the Philips Hue or anything like that where I can control it via my Google Home units or anything. But I feel like that's the next step. For my musical instruments, I finally reached a point though, as crazy as this sounds, I feel like I don't need anything else.
That you're complete. Well, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 guitars over there.
38? No, I'm just kidding. It's really reached a point though. So for me, that I realize I don't need any more than what I have, and I'm completely happy with what I do have currently. Sure. So and off to the side of the camera that you can't see, I've got my main electric guitar for gigging.
Yep.
And my main acoustic guitar for gigging. Those just happen to be up front, and then backup electric guitars, backup acoustics, and then extended range guitars and bass guitars that I'm never going to probably play on stage as a bass player, but I love having one, noodling around with them.
Yeah.
I'm done. I mean, I got an electronic.
Oh, there'll be one.
I know. I feel like here's the thing. You know when that's going to happen? It's going to happen after I've caught up on everything else that I have intentions to do. I feel like that's the point where and did you have this too? I'm in my mid 30s now, solidly in my mid 30s at 35.
Yeah, you're solid mid 30.
Solidly
Next year, you're in your late 30s.
That'll be an awful moment. I feel like 35 wasn't bad, but I feel like 36 I'm going to start crying a little bit. So I feel like because I'm more adulting now, I feel like I'm worried about the house. I'm worried about doing other things in the house. You know what I'm saying? Where before I was like, I had, the house was okay, but I'm like, I really want to focus on this fun stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad I did, because now that I'm done with that stuff, and even though there will be that moment down the line where I'm like, yeah, I need to get another acoustic or electric. I feel like that's going to be when the kids are already out of the house though. So I'll have extra income anyway.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's just been household stuff now. And
the thing with household stuff, once you get it all done, and we've been in our house for 13 years.
13, yeah.
And you start back over.
Oh, do you really?
So
okay.
That front room that you painted when you moved in,
you're ready again?
You're going to be, or whatever room it is, but my house was built in the 30s, so it was a massive project when we started.
Sure.
But it seems like it runs a cycle. It's like, oh, okay, you got to do that again. Well, where it feels like, as you get older, time seems to go faster, even though it's still 24 hours in a day. But, you're like, God, I just painted that. Seemed like 3 years ago. And it's like, no, we did that when we moved in 13 years ago.
13 years ago.
So it does eventually come back around.
Well, let's be real on other things too. So you buy new furniture over time as well.
Yep.
That's in maybe new color. So maybe, you're like, the paint doesn't quite match with this or that. And man, we're really talking like old people now. It seems like where I am. But, or like trim even, lately I've been looking at this with my girlfriend, in the house, because I'm going to replace these blue carpet in sections of my house because it's a 90s house, and that's the original carpet that's still in the house in certain areas of this place. Other carpets and floor, like in this office, have been replaced since then. I'm just like, I'm going to do laminate. I want to do something that hopefully is going to be timeless. So I'm thinking that it's going to look good no matter what other we replace the furniture with this color down the line, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or we could repaint it and it's still going to look good. That's the struggles, the adulting struggles I'm going through right now.
I got a solution for you.
Go for it.
Keep it, because eventually it's going to come back in style.
The blue carpet?
Hell yes. It's kind of like 70s shag rug.
I can't tell if he's serious or not
80s
right now.
retro music. Whatever. You take it how you want it. Keep the door shut.
It's not a ton of things I want to do in this house, but carpet or replace with laminate is definitely one thing. And then blinds, that's the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing, is like, I'm done with the guitars. Now it's like I'm adulting. I'm looking at things, and then it's going to be more outside the house too,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want that to happen. I still want that desire, and I do have it, but it's not as strong as it used to be.
Right.
So the fun thing for me is with this podcast that you're on here today, next year, my goal will be to get one new camera.
Okay.
And I've been working with another friend of mine who's done podcasts with me. His name's Michael Berensmeyer. He does photography. I want to get the straight on camera. I want it to be one of those cameras that's top quality 4K. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One really good camera that I could also use for other YouTube stuff too.
Sure.
Actual photography if I wanted to. Do you have any like cameras that you use? Because I know you're into video cameras. Do you have any actual cameras that you have?
We got like a DLSR, DSLR.
DSLR.
Yeah. That we had to have. My wife had to have. And we got it. Nice camera, but it's so damn complicated.
Is it
it's not like a point and shoot. You can put the dummy modes, but like actual true video cameras, I don't have any.
Besides these for the podcast and the band stuff, I don't either.
But I've never taken the YouTube thing like on seriously. More, it's just like, we'll grab my GoPro and I'm gonna do something silly. If I was like a legitimate photographer, videographer type of deal, then maybe I'd go down more that road or look into more of those,
The stuff's expensive too.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It is.
It's like no different than buying a guitar. You're talking thousands of dollars for a really nice unit, and that's But it's gonna happen though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end up doing something like that. So I'm just curious if you had anything.
No, I got nothing. Those 360 cameras though, pretty badass.
That would be kind of cool too, wouldn't it?
'Cause
Now,
you
how
could-
would that?
Because you could, you know, you have it set up here, and then if I don't know anything about them. This is just ideas.
Go ahead.
That you know, like you had talked if you had friends over playing your guitars, where you know it's like on the YouTube on your phone, you can look, you know, and you can scroll back and forth. Like there's a Blue Angels video on YouTube that is freaking phenomenal, where they got 360 cameras set up in them,
See everything.
and you're riding with them, and it's kind of like that concept, except for it'd be in a studio. You know, where you're here doing a podcast, and if someone's watching, they can be like, "Oh yeah, look."
Scroll around and check.
You know, the
everything
guy
out,
that's
yeah.
over there either picking his nose or doing whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that would be cool. But
That'd be cool to do. So
Yeah.
who makes a camera like that then?
I don't know. I know like Samsung made one. I don't know anything about them. And then Rilo is another one that makes GoPro makes a Fusion. But I think those are more action sports, more targeted towards action sports. I don't know about the Samsung one. And it's I think they're a nightmare to get them. There's so much information to like when you put it in your computer
Yeah.
to
For post and stuff.
download and render and all the stuff
Yeah.
that I really don't know what happens. But
I want to do something fun though. So next year I'm planning on one nice new camera that does straight on and still keep
Sure.
the old cameras for the angles. And then
Right.
I don't know. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. We're kind of in a new age with virtual reality and all this
Yeah.
stuff. I should consider something fun like that, but I don't know if this is just something I do for the fun of it. You know, having friends over like you that I
Yeah,
haven't seen
yeah.
for a while and just chatting and hanging out. I don't know if I'm not getting paid. There's no sponsorship yet from Balvenie or for Miller Lite. Hey, I'm a dirty slut. So if you want to throw something my way,
yeah,
sorry for the kids that are listening out there, but yeah, Miller Lite, if you want to, I mean, I'm listening. I'll put some scotch in that Miller Lite if I need to.
no, it would be Miller Lite
Right, exactly.
all the time.
Yes. So, comment below if you want to see Miller Lite as a sponsor.
That'd be pretty badass.
And could you imagine that commercial beforehand?
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Miller Lite.
As you're pouring your single barrel into the 16 ouncer.
It comes out it isn't coming out golden though. It's coming out looking like this
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
That would not be good.
Depends on how much they paid you. I'm sure you could fake you would drink as much Miller Lite as you needed to make it look like that you were
Do whatever I need to.
Yep.
I'll do whatever I need to.
Because I know if Miller Lite came to me and they said, "Hey, quit your day job. We want you to fill in the blank. You got medical? All right, I'm in."
Exactly, right?
in.
I mean, do you need 401k? It'd be nice,
Yeah,
but medical is pretty important,
yeah,
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now when you were talking about cameras, you said
Yes.
something about VR. Have you tinkered with any of the VR gaming?
I have not yet. So
I haven't either.
I almost pulled I almost bought the PlayStation headset. I haven't yet, just because when I almost bought it, when it almost really pulled the trigger, it was for the new Resident Evil game that came out.
Yeah.
Well, God, when was that? Was that I feel like the Resident Evil game, the new one, came out like, is it 2 years ago now?
Everything goes so. I never got into the Resident Evil.
Okay.
I played Resident Evil 2 on the PS1, but I never got into them.
So speaking of Resident Evil 2, and now I'm jumping around, but they're remaking Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
And one of my guests that has been on, Dan Bobek, he's from Iowa City. He does a YouTube channel where they play like old school games all the time.
Oh, nice.
When the remake comes out on PlayStation 4 on January 25th, it's a Friday. We're actually going to do a podcast and play through it.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, because that was the first game, and I've talked about this, I feel like, on the podcast, maybe not though, is that was the game for me on Nintendo 64 over here behind the cameras.
Oh, all right.
N64. It came out, that was the first Resident Evil game that came out on N64. So back in the day when I was a kid,
Right.
my grandparents got that game for me, and I don't think my parents really knew, and I don't even know if they would have cared or not, but I didn't tell them that I had gotten it, and I was young, right? And that was a mature game probably back in the day.
Because I was late teens, early 20s when that came out, and I think I got 7 years on you. So yeah, you would have been a youngster.
I would have been,
Preteen-ish.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I wasn't sure if it was cool, but my grandparents got it for me. I remember playing that and thinking, this is the most awesome game ever. So they're remaking it. It's gonna be fresh, look awesome and redone.
Yeah.
I'm totally getting that and totally doing a podcast where we're going to play through
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do a good job with it, and they don't. And hopefully your memory, it's as badass as what you remember it is, because there's lots of games like the Metal Gear.
Metal Gear
They
Solid,
redid that,
yeah.
and
yeah.
that game was badass.
Yeah.
And then they redid it, and I played it. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It was good. It's still good, but
I will say that Capcom, which is the company that makes Resident Evil games, they have remade other Resident Evil titles from the originals, including the very first one, refreshed them with new graphics.
Right.
And they turned out just as awesome as the old ones did. They kept true to the original game. So I'm super faithful to Capcom to deliver for this RE2 one as well. And they showed that scene, if you remember in Resident Evil 2, where the first zombie which you don't see the first zombie in that game until like 15 minutes worth of gameplay in, right? Which helps build drama, or not drama, but that anticipation maybe, and where it's eating somebody in the hallway, and then back in the day they had cut scenes where it would black out, and then all of a sudden it'd go to this zombie rising up and then turning his head, and the almost like 16-bit blood's dropping from his mouth, or technically 64 bits, I guess, but N64, that's actually what N64 meant.
It was 64 bits.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So, but now they showed that scene in the trailer. Oh my God, it looks just crazy. Really? Oh man, it's unbelievable. Yeah. So I'm super excited for it. The nostalgia. Yeah. And N64 means 64 bits. I could be wrong. Let's take a look.
You know what? You could have told me that, and I'd be like, I never knew that.
Right. Well,
that's good information. I forgot you got this big TV over here.
Yeah, you can look at that one. Yeah. It'd be easier for you. So 64-bit RISC. So here's the deal: is that Nintendo 64 may not have been 64 bits out of the gate right away, but they actually had an expansion pack you could get from the Nintendo 64. Did you ever have an N64?
I'm a PlayStation guy.
Well, I am now too, but back in the day.
Back then.
So you can see on the right my history, and now even the newer PS3, PlayStation 2 behind the cameras, they can't see it. But
you got the blacked out Wii. Dang, baller.
No big deal.
I just unloaded mine at the disc replay.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Expansion pack. So basically Nintendo had this deal to try to compete. They had this expansion pack.
Okay.
And it basically boosted the graphics.
I think I remember that. I worked in a toy store around this time frame.
Yeah. So I had that though in my N64. Okay. So back in the day, my N64, it looked legit, especially compared to the PlayStation version.
You had it souped up then, is what you're saying.
You're like overclocking my N64 or something like that.
You were modded out back before you knew what modded out was.
Exactly. So I'm super excited for the RE2 remake, and I'm going to definitely be doing that with my future guest, with Dan again when he comes back on. But enough about that, though. Resident Evil, you brought that up, so it reminded me of that. Right. Let's do this really quick because we're about halfway through, I'm sure by now. I'm going to top off a little bit more. How you doing on the scotch?
Yeah, it's getting me there.
I'm going to keep working you there. Okay, so this is the next thing I want to talk about with you. So we talked about biking. We talked about cameras. We talked about where we met work-wise. We talked about the radio station. I feel like there's something else I wanted to talk to you about now, and I've had enough Miller Lite that I'm trying to remember what it is.
Miller Lite's what got you.
It is.
It's what got you.
It got me. It really did.
Music. We're going to talk about music a little bit.
Let's talk about music.
What right now, rock and roll wise, has you excited?
Has me excited?
That you're like,
oh, that's a great question.
Because since we don't have a active rock station in our area, and I don't have Sirius in my car, my wife's got it in our SUV, so I rely on streaming. I got Apple Music.
I listen to Google Play Music all the time.
Do you? Yep. And
same thing.
But I guess it depends on my mood, because you know how music goes with your mood.
It does.
Sometimes I'm like, all right, I want to listen to some old James Brown or old Hendrix. So I don't listen to a lot of like active rock now because I can't have a radio at work. And no current rock station. So I'm kind of out of the loop on the music that I really like, or historically have really liked. So what are you into?
So for me, if it comes to newer rock, I find it, and I feel like this is a generational thing. I feel like I remember, I feel like talking to people that are older than us, and I mean considerably older than us, but like, oh, music isn't the same the way it used to be. And I feel like I'm turning into that. I really do. I feel like the way I'm getting is that nothing's better than what I grew up with in high school. And I know we're a little bit off on, age, but for me, so if I was I talked to somebody else about this recently too. So my music when I was in high school, and I graduated in 2002. So early 2000s was really what I was into. So for me, and if you look around this room, and some of these are on the cameras, you can see, but I'm huge into that 2000s and newer kind of rock, new metal kind of stuff. I still am. It's my soft spot. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
Deftones is one of my favorite bands of all time. They're the reason why I have an eight-string guitar for the newer Deftones stuff too, electric guitar. But
great band.
I seen them.
Great band.
Dude, I remember. I'm not trying to get off topic here and keep going other directions, but I saw Deftones for Family Values tour when they were at it used to be the Mark in Moline. I feel like I don't even remember when that was. The Korn was there, of course, and all those different bands. And
I think it was 2005. I saw it on your ticket stub, 2005 or 2006.
Even earlier than that. That's the second. Or was that the time? Yeah, maybe that was the time. No, that was. So that was Family Values. You're right. I'm sorry. Man, this Miller Lite's kicking my ass. So I saw them for Family Values, and that's when I met them. And everybody got a signed poster, whether or not the band members actually signed the poster.
Yeah.
I feel like they may have back then, though. I feel like it wasn't as... I feel like it was legit. So I met Steph Carpenter, who's the guitar player for Deftones, and this album was when he switched over to 7 strings.
Okay.
So for me, it was still cool though to see like my idol, right? Because there was something about my teen years and my high school years that I really loved the Deftones, and that was because of the people that I worked with at Happy Joe's and Muscatine, which was my first job that I ever worked at.
Yeah,
they're a bunch of stoners that loved all kinds of great music that turned me on to that.
Right.
Because my parents, what I listened to was what my parents basically listened to was, oh my God, freaking. My dad always listened to 70s music. The typical, God, I feel like Steve Miller Band, and my stepmom who lived there, she was all 80s, and I hated that 80s stuff, which I still hate today. No offense to anybody out there, which I feel probably is more in your wheelhouse. No?
I'm big grunge.
Good man.
That was like when I really, really started loving music, was the grunge era.
Was it like the Nirvana Soundgarden and stuff? Yeah, that kind of
Peppers,
stuff. Chili Peppers.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Was that Mother's Milk or Blood Sugar,
Sex Magic?
Sex Magic.
One of my top 5 albums.
I guess I'm kind of getting off topic here and moving ahead to where I'm losing track. So basically, that's what I used to listen to. Right. That's what we were talking about. Right. So
what's now?
What did we listen to in high school? Mine was new metal, 2000s, newer stuff.
Sure.
So I thought about that. And somebody else, when I was talking to them, this made sense. They were turntable bands. You know what I mean by that?
Not really, but where they'd get it, like they were trying to get radio airplay, and then
turntable bands necessarily meant back then. These were bands like Deftones, Incubus, 311, Linkin Park. They had a guy in the band who scratched.
Oh, okay.
So Slipknot even, which may have been a little bit later when their first album came out.
Limp Bizkit.
Yes. And I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, partner. Keep on rolling, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know what time it is. Right? So it's...
Scott rolling. I had a friend that does that to me all the time.
Does he really? What a dick.
That's awesome.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Man, people bang on Limp Bizkit, but I loved them.
I did too.
And I still do. Wes Borland was a freaking amazing guitar player. Bass player. Sam Borland?
Dude, he was awesome.
And the dude on the ones and the twos on the turntables. They're badass. Unfortunately, Fred Durst.
He's
kind of a douche.
You're always going to have a douche hanging around, right?
But it worked.
And it worked well. I will tell you this. If they ever come around and tour again,
I'm there.
I'm probably going to be there. And it's maybe just that because, that's what we grew up with in that type of time frame. And so turntable bands though.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I'm trying to do something with connecting old and new here. So turntable bands like those bands, again, I think Incubus was one of my favorites. Deftones was one of my favorites. Linkin Park wasn't necessarily one of my favorites back then, but then I respected them as I went further down. Limp Bizkit. Who else was a turntable band back then? I feel like there's somebody I'm missing. Fast forward. Personally, what I enjoy listening to in rock. So you say rock and roll.
Right.
To me, there's a million different genres out there of music that I could consider rock. But when you say rock and roll, are you talking about just a general?
Just general hard rock.
I like alternative rock for something that's
I'm a
safe
big fan.
rock. So, and I don't know if alternative fits in, but I'm going to go with Highly Suspect, Royal Blood.
I like Royal Blood.
I'm going to go with
That first Royal Blood album was freaking lights out.
awesome. So
Yeah.
honestly, the bass, the reason why was because of Out of the Black.
Yeah.
That was why. When I'm like, holy cow, this is awesome. I'm like, wait, there's no guitar on this?
I looked him up on YouTube. I put him in, YouTube video comes up,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is a 2-piece?
Yeah.
You gotta be shitting me.
Yeah.
And that bump, 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 da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. And
So-
I didn't give the second album as much time as the first album.
Same for me, but
Yeah.
of course that's typically how it can be though.
Right.
I will tell you I did look up when I found out that, and I'm not kidding, the reason why I've even played live with the bass, that Out of the Black with the drummer,
Yeah.
and I'll show you video when we're done because I don't want to waste time looking it up now. But basically, when I found out he was a bass player and there was no guitar player, I researched. I'm like, oh my God, how's he doing this? And he's like, it's like he's taking his signal and he's splitting it off to two different amp setups, and one's giving a guitar sound and one's giving a bass sound. So big props to Royal Blood for making that sound with just two people, like you said.
Yeah.
I've seen Highly Suspect live. They're awesome. They're a newer alternative band, rock band. I'm trying to remember. I feel like besides that, I'm coming up empty, man. I can't think of anybody that... Who is your favorite alternative band, everybody? Put it in the comments on YouTube. We need more YouTube comments. But for you...
Hold on. I've always wanted to say
Go ahead.
this. Put this in the comments down below and smash that like button if you haven't subscribed yet. All right. I always wanted to do that.
I'm glad he's doing that. So I do need more subscribers. I'm not getting paid or anything. I'm not monetized for any of these videos.
Yeah.
But if you want to, it's going to help pave the way. Miller Lite may be like, hey, you know what? He's got 300 subscribers now. So. Yeah. So I'm really coming up empty on newer bands that I could recommend to you besides Royal Blood and Highly Suspect. Give me something that you've been listening to.
I go everywhere, and I'll go on because I do like the Apple Music, which is the Spotify type, Google Play, whatever.
Right. Yep.
And I'll just go on. Sometimes I'll go back, I'll hear full albums. Like recently, I downloaded the first Korn album because I never got into it back when it first came out. And I'll be out on my bike and I'll listen to it because I think there's a true art form in a whole album, and it's lost nowadays because I don't honestly remember the last full album I bought. Yeah. And everybody's waiting for something from Tool. That's the big.
Yeah, I just pointed to a Tool poster. From
But the last. Now, it doesn't have to be hard rock, but you ever hear of it? This isn't hard rock. Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. He sang that "Son of a Bitch, Give Me a Drink." It's real soul and blues. I mean, it's probably 2 or 3 years old.
Nathaniel
Rateliff, R-A-T. There you go.
And what's the song?
"Son of a Bitch," S-O-B.
S-O-B.
Yeah, just put S-O-B.
Well,
but
so we don't get kicked off YouTube.
You're
For this.
right.
I want to play just a moment of it. Okay, hold on a second. I want to hear a little bit of this. Oh, shit.
So this isn't hard rock. They've used that in commercials.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, they've used it in
It does.
commercials.
It does sound familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole album, that's the last album I got. But it's more soul and but anyway, a lot of the music I've been listening to, I'll go back and I downloaded the whole Led Zeppelin catalog.
Oh yes. What's your favorite? Sorry to distract. What is your favorite Led Zeppelin? Give me top 3.
God, 4 is awesome. Like as an album.
Song. I want songs.
Oh, song.
Even if you can't remember what it's called, give me like how does it go?
Brown Yard Stomp is probably definitely top 3, and it's one of those songs. It's buried, and it's an acoustic thing, and it's got that. I'll play it afterwards if you remember me.
Yep.
God damn, Over the Hills and Far Away.
Love that song. Yep. What else?
You know, like I recently, everybody says radio sucks. Like, you hear the same songs all the time. Well, okay, true, but those songs are great. So, and why I say this is because like rock and roll, when you hear da 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 da,
Yep.
it gotta be rock and roll. Gotta be one of them. And I threw in that radio sucks thing because it seems like anytime there's a song that's been overplayed, it's not the band's fault. It's a popular song that people like a lot, and radio overplays it. So, I got a friend that he hates Led Zeppelin. Well, it's not Led Zeppelin's fault.
Why does he hate Led Zeppelin? Because it's played so much?
Because it gets played so much.
Well, it's because it's great stuff.
Because it's great. Exactly.
People rip on them and like Jimmy Page for like he's just... Dude, Jimmy Page is an awesome guitar player.
Well, yeah.
He's not... People say, oh, he's copying off other people. I'm like, man... Yeah, you can say that about anybody. Here's the deal, and I'm not trying to cut in front of you.
No, that's
the guitar, the fretboard, has only so many notes on it, right?
Yep.
So at some point, you're going to run out of things to play. You know what I'm saying? You can only, and that was from, I remember I read that quote from an interview from Zach Myers from Shinedown, a newer band that I have seen multiple times live and I enjoy their music, kind of guilty pleasure-ish almost. But he's like, yeah, with a guitar, it's an awesome instrument, but seriously, you're going to run out of things. You're going to be limited, right?
Right.
And that's why, and we're going to get back to what you're talking about, but like the 8-string guitars or 7-string guitars, like Korn, you went back and revisited it. For me, Deftones, right? That album that they toured on for that was 7 strings, and they went to 8-string guitars, and I love playing some 8-string stuff because it kind of gives you something different, right? You may not like it, but it's different. But getting back though to the...
I'd like to add on what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is everybody has when you learn an instrument, you have your hero and you have the person that you practice over and over and over again.
Yep.
And whether you like it or not.
Yep.
They're part of like your DNA of music.
They are.
Because like
inspiration, man.
Look at Hendrix. And look at Jimmy Page. They love those old Southern bluesy guys. And it's like they stole this stuff from those Southern bluesy guys. No, that's who influenced them.
Exactly.
So there's that too. What's that Zeppelin sound? Greta Van Fleet.
Yes.
And they get a lot of hate, and it's like, oh, they sound just like Zeppelin. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Yeah. And that one first single that came out, everybody ripped on them, and I'm like, you know what? It's kind of cool to hear that because I love Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I got nothing against that.
And
they're not. It's not Zeppelin.
No.
Even though it may sound similar in some respects, it's not the same stuff. It's not the same stuff at all. But I think that's honorable. If I was Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, and is John Bonham dead? Right, he passed away.
Yeah, Bonham's dead.
But his kid plays, right?
Right.
Yeah, drums.
Yep.
Dude, I'd be so like honored. That means that's like one of the most sincerest forms of flattery.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it could be, right? Or is it completely insulting? Depend on who you are.
I would think it'd be honored. They're like, you sound like Led Zeppelin, one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time.
Exactly, right? I'm the same way. I'd be the same way. So, and I've never been an original guitar player.
Right.
So I've never gotten that from anybody like judging me down. They just judge me because my covers I play, but that's okay.
Now, I got some songs that they're covers, and I'll play them, and they sound like originals because I hit all the wrong chords and all the wrong strings. Anyway, yeah,
it happens.
Yeah,
it happens to the best of us. We were looking earlier at some instruments and stuff that was laying around the house, and you've played a little bit in the past.
Yeah,
you said you can play Green Day with the best of them or something.
I can play some power chords.
You play some power chords.
Yeah.
After this, we may play a song or two. You never know. After we're done with the podcast,
right.
But. So what was the guitar the first guitar you bought? I know we're getting away from the other topic, but
yeah. when I was in a kid, like elementary school, I wanted a guitar. I wanted a guitar.
But why? Why did you want a guitar?
Because it's cool, man.
Was there like, what was your influence? Was it Led Zeppelin or?
Oh, I was too young. I didn't know. I mean, like there was that was hot MTV time. We're talking like late 80s, mid 80s. So I don't think Guns N' Roses were out yet. It's probably
well, if it was 80s, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, but I'm at this, like I was like in 4th or 5th grade. It was probably like the Top Gun soundtrack. There's like this instrumental. So being a young kid that liked airplanes, and guitars look cool.
Me too.
So they got me this. I have one Christmas. It was a K-A-Y, and I think during that time, like Montgomery Ward's, a lot of the catalog stuff. It's this brand, and that the whole Japanese era of like the Les Pauls, like around in there.
Yeah.
It was an old K guitar, and they got me it, and they got me a book for lessons.
Keep talking.
And I would act like I was Elvis, and I would just strum it like I was a madman. And then that sat for a while, and then when I was in high school, senior year, I had a friend, and we started hanging out and partying together. And he's a really, really good guitar player, like into Megadeth and Metallica and Dream Theater. So real intricate, wanted to get it perfect.
Yep.
And I was like, man, I want to learn how to play guitar. So I think I ended up buying it was a Strat, a black and white Strat. It looked like a Clapton Strat, but it was a
Squier
Korean.
Strat?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's what I took lessons from a dude at Griggs.
Was his name? Was it
Tim Bellman? It was up in Davenport.
Oh, Davenport. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so I learned Enter Sandman and
something like what?
Something like that, right there,
right here,
up top. Let me look over there. That's
black
white pick guard,
black and white
light
pick.
neck to the
right.
right. One more.
Hold on, right here.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, it looks like a Clapton guitar. Yep, there it is. That's a sweet rig. I don't know a lot. Now, this is random. One of your other podcasts, you said you hated Les Pauls.
Correct, I do.
I bought an Epiphone Les Paul, like a goth model off QC Online before Craigslist was big.
Like a goth model.
Well, it was called the Goth. It was like the Goth. It was flat black, and it had, instead of the dots, it had like the iron crosses every three. Anyway, and I'd always wanted the Les Paul because that's what Slash played. I'm like,
because Slash, right? Yeah.
And I'm a grown ass man. I'm well into my 30s at this point, right? And I got it, and I hated it.
Yes.
Because when I was sitting down, it pushed into my man boob, and it was really uncomfortable. And it had the raised bridge, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And I held on to it and ended up selling it.
Can you do me a favor? Can you play my Paul Reed Smith single cut over there before you leave?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still gonna push up.
Cut into my man boob. But
It cuts into my man boob, that's for sure. But you know what though? It's the best Les Paul I've ever played in my life.
Really?
Take that, Gibson lovers.
And they're cool, man. Joe Perry, Slash, Jimmy Page.
You're talking Les Pauls.
Les Pauls, yeah. They all play
Sure.
Les Pauls.
I've always referred to Les Pauls as, no offense, and I know it's no offense to you because you're not that much older than me, as an old man's game. So a guitar like that's made in Maryland, that is a truly well-built, great sounding, quality controlled, great playing guitar. With it's a single cut, but that's all that it shares.
Right.
It's a truly better guitar, and it sounds great. And for me, here's the deal, because we talked about music and turntable bands, right?
Yeah.
All the whatever it was. That guitar has more of that sound. The pickups in it are more aggressive for that sound.
Okay.
The Led Zeppelin that I love.
Yeah.
That Jimmy Page plays all the Les Pauls. He's one of the few Les Paul players that I truly respect. And all the guys that play those, it has a different sound. This one has a higher output sound that I play in my Paul Reed Smith SC 250, single cut 250. 250 stands for 25-inch scale. It's just unbelievable. And I run that thing, and it sounds... I had somebody at a gig recently in Cedar Rapids. I played at a place a couple of times called Chrome Horse Saloon.
Mm-hmm.
I had somebody came up and goes, man, that sounds awesome. It sounds just like the original... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
is like 90s and newer, and that's what I'm saying. It's not a Les Paul, right? It's not 70s and 60s
Right.
and music. It's like hits hard, it cuts. It's like the EQ set up perfect. I'm a firm believer, and not a Gibson Les Paul brand. I have a SG. I have a true Gibson SG over there. I don't know if you saw a podcast I did with Darren Peterson recently. The gentleman with no hair.
Okay.
That also I drank a lot that time.
And that was the same podcast. I heard your voice, your dislike of Les Pauls.
Yes, and I brought the guitars up, and my SG. That's the only Gibson product that I ever will appreciate, just because it was the first one that I bought at Griggs and Muscatine back when Grigg, or it may have been Muskie Music back then. But I hate it. I hate the guitar, but I keep it because of nostalgia. And I feel like it was the first nice guitar I ever bought. I hate AC/DC. I am not a fan of. I love Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi.
Yeah.
But that's not the reason I have that
Right,
guitar.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
You hate AC/DC?
I fucking hate AC/DC.
Really?
Here's the deal, and I know I get it, right? Some people love AC/DC, and there's like 20 different AC/DC tribute bands in the Quad Cities.
Yeah.
I
I feel like there's an inside joke there that I don't get.
That's okay. Anyway, so I like the guitar because I like the look of it. I feel like, here's the deal. Deftones, we get back to them. Chino Moreno, he's always played an SG.
Really?
I realized, subliminally, when I look back, I'm like, why did I get an SG when I bought that? 'Cause I'm like, I got to have that when I bought it. And I was like 18 or 18, whatever. That was the first nice guitar I ever bought. I realized it's because of Chino. Chino always played an SG as the secondary guitar part.
Yeah.
And the music. And that's why I bought it. So getting back to Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, whoever it is that you're into, I feel like who you watch and who you appreciate musically, that's sometimes who you try to become, right?
Yeah.
Greta Van Fleet. People can hate, but let's face it, they're basically, I think that's respect to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know, why wouldn't you want to sound like your mentors? Of course, you're going to get some changes in there because of your own personality, but isn't what makes music great? And I'm sure if you've ever played anything on your own, you take this and you take that and you take that and you put it all together, and that's you. You think about like people that paint, their influences, they're like, oh yeah, that looks like, I'm going to try to, that looks like a dolly. Like, I know all these great painters, but yeah, and so Greta Van Fleet takes Led Zeppelin, they do it well, it sounds good, voila.
I respect it. I like that first single. I think it was cool. It was like a nice throwback.
Yeah.
These kids, dude, they're like fucking, 16, 17?
Yeah, they're younger.
I mean, they're 18. Are they 18, 19?
I really don't know. I've seen some YouTube videos of them.
Keep talking.
Keep
talking. You got this.
They went down one of those rabbit holes, and they took old people, by old, like 50s and 60s, and they played Led Zeppelin, like 5-second clip from Led Zeppelin and a 5-second clip from Greta Van Fleet. And they had to name if it was Led Zeppelin or Greta Van Fleet.
They did that?
They did that. Yeah.
Oh,
it was like,
God.
and I think that's Led Zeppelin. And it'd be Greta Van Fleet because that's how you edit things.
That's hilarious. I mean, if you look at this, as of May 29th, 2018, post-millennial Led Zeppelin. I love that article title.
Sweet.
It says that 22-year-old twins, Josh and guitarist. So who's Josh then? So
yeah. Good luck pronouncing that last name.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. And then 19-year-old bassist, keyboardist, and plus drummer who's 19. That was this year. So they're young.
They're real young.
That's good for them.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Good for them. That's awesome. I think that's incredible.
We said something earlier about like a recent band. It's not a recent band, but a recent album. Queen's The Stone Age, their last two albums. Yes. I listened to that on the way out.
Dude.
And it was phenomenal. Their latest one's great. The one before that, which is probably 5 years old, that whole thing, front to back.
Dude, even their latest one, when it came out.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
When I listened to it, I'm like, oh my God. Josh.
All of it.
Still kicking ass
on
that stuff. And I'm like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Queens of the Stone Age fan? I didn't ever realize that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And did you ever hear that? I wish they do another album. I can't remember the name of the band. It's him, Dave Grohl, and the bassist from Led Zeppelin. Crooked Bastards.
Them Crooked Vultures.
Them Crooked Vultures.
Yep.
That freaking album. I played it a lot.
You know my favorite. Oh, me too. And you know
I
my
played the shit out of that.
Hold on a second. You know my favorite thing to watch, and this we can't get copyrighted for this, but I gotta show this because it's hilarious. Dave Grohl. If you haven't seen this before, I hope this makes your night. If you haven't seen this,
I think.
So basically, Dave Grohl has a coffee problem. This is hilarious. For anybody that's listening, I apologize, but Google search Dave Grohl fresh pots. There's a little bit of a lag on the vocal, the voice here, it looks like, but
has he totally owned and killed it being a rock star? Just embraced it and been great.
Unbelievable. And a great guy, too, apparently.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a lag, but I've never had a lag like this on the Chromecast. This is bothering me. So basically, Dave Grohl's just like high on coffee all the time. I'm gonna put a link to this in the YouTube description. It's hilarious.
Have you seen the video of them where they're playing Imagine? It's with the Foo Fighters. They're doing the Imagine, but then they play Jump. They sing Jump by Van Halen.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I have not seen that.
Yeah, that's...
So,
I love that album cover with fresh pie.
I hope they do something together again.
That'd
because
be cool.
I don't know if you know this. I know we're really getting into music, but I don't care because Queens of the Stone Age, one of my favorite albums with them, are the one with Go With The Flow and No One Knows,
yeah,
and Mosquito Song and all those good ones, the classic ones. It was
the one that really put them in where people knew them.
Yeah, exactly. Dave was the studio drummer on that album. I love that. That was awesome. Yeah. Huge respect for Dave. And all the interviews I remember watching and listening to Dave is like, what's your favorite instrument? You do all these instruments? He's like, drums. Yeah. I got a drum, he's like Animal from the Muppets,
he is.
right?
He is.
Yeah. So respect that. Did you see recently too? He got together with Chris. Is it Chris
Novoselic? No, from Nirvana.
Yep. They got together with this dude who apparently, and Pat Smear, who's the backup guitar player for years for Nirvana too. They got together with this dude from like the East Coast or something and they did this reunion tour, the SoCal Jam. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Joan Jett came out and did
Isn't
that.
Yeah, and she did a couple songs.
Yeah. I guess she did when they were inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, she sang for them.
I missed that. Yeah. I think that's awesome.
Oh, it's great.
Just, think about if you were somebody there at that and didn't expect that to happen.
That's my favorite thing when I go see a show, and I love all the originals, but when they'll do a cover that comes like from out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, what? Sweet.
Yeah. And just to do like a set full of like old Nirvana songs.
Right.
And the best part is not all the Nirvana songs were like just the hits. I feel like it was a couple of ones that weren't necessarily radio songs too. I'll have to double check that.
Yeah, there was Come As You Are, there was Teen Spirit, there was Serve the Servants.
Was it In Bloom too? Was there too?
It might have been In Bloom.
Nirvana, SoCal Jam. Yeah, this dude apparently is in another Deer Ticks.
Yeah,
John McCauley or something like that. Yeah. All Apologies they did. Smells Like Joan Jett. So I've got an old coworker of mine that I'm going to do a podcast with at the beginning of November. Funny story. I'm not trying to cut into Kevin your story on this because I'm going to bring this up on our podcast. He lives in Fargo, North Dakota, originally from Florida.
Holy crap! There's
Yep.
a little bit of difference.
I think his wife is the reason he's in Fargo, North Dakota now. But he said basically that he took Joan Jett to the airport one time because where he was working or something, because he worked at a car dealership selling BMWs or something. Kevin, don't be upset if you're watching this because I know you're going to be on the podcast too. He said he took her there and she was the biggest bitch ever.
Really?
Like, snobby and,
Huh.
So when
Damn
I saw that Joan Jett was like doing these Nirvana covers,
That's what you thought of?
I was slightly disappointed to see that she was doing it.
Yeah.
And do me a favor, watch this podcast when I do it with Kevin because he'll probably
Okay.
he'll give it the full disclaimer.
Right.
Because he was like in a company BMW driving her to the airport or something like that from the dealership he worked at. But yeah, it Smells Like Teen Spirit, and yeah, they did all these songs. How cool is that? I mean, if I was there, I mean, I'd be geeking out.
Oh
Would
yeah.
you?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'd probably, since they were probably the headliners, I'd probably be a few beers deep, and it'd probably take me like a minute. I'm like, I've heard this song before.
A few Miller Lights deep. Am I right?
That's right.
Are you out?
Almost.
Are
At
you-
Madison, that's my beer choice.
You know what? I want to be completely clear that I hope Scott comes back someday because he's been a lot of fun to hang out with. And I feel like we haven't even talked about everything yet.
I don't even know what the hell we're supposed to talk about, but it has been a good time.
Here's the great thing about this is we don't have to talk about anything. We really
Yeah,
don't. We just
no.
have to sit back, hang out, and talk about whatever we want to talk about. And seriously, nobody has ever brought a gift, let alone Miller Lite. What did you tell me? We were texting before he came over. What did you tell me you were going to bring over again?
I was going to bring Fireball, Swisher Sweets, and Miller Lite because Ed smokes cigars, drinks whiskey, and Miller Lite. And that's probably if I was going to smoke cigars, drink whiskey, and drink beer.
So Swisher Sweets, if anybody wants to fuck with me, is just don't do it. Just don't. Swisher Sweets is Black and Mild wood tips or Swisher Sweets. Just I mean, Black and Mild's a little bit nicer, but I mean, it's just not going to happen. Okay, Miller Lite though, it's been fun. I haven't had a beer burp on a podcast yet.
There you go. Are you going for broke? You gonna do it?
Whoa. So Miller Lite, Mom, if you're watching, I hope you're proud of your son because this is about as close as it's gonna get right there to me drinking Miller Lite. Just bring it together, Miller. If you're watching, wait, did Miller get bought up by InBev?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
What doesn't InBev own at this point?
I don't know. They own the whole Coors and Miller line. Like I've done all the big 3 tours of all the.
Were you in St. Louis?
It's been a long time. It's been like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But I did that tour. I've done the Miller tour. I've done the Coors tour 2 or 3 times. Not because I like it.
Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been out there and it's like, oh, let's go waste an hour and get some free beer. So you go through their tour and get some free beers at the end.
Remember I told you before I went to Scotch, I was drinking IPAs, double IPAs.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Blue Moons, which Coors,
I love Blue Moon.
which Coors owns.
Blue Moon on draft with an orange. Whoo! That's some dynamite right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
There
Beer
you go.
burps. I just want you to know there's ever been beer burps before
That's you.
Scott Roland, before Tattoo showed up, didn't have any beer burps here, but I'm pretty excited about that. Do me a favor, come back and see me next year sometime.
Are we out of time already?
I mean, we're not the thing is there's never really like a set time.
Yeah, let me know when, and I'll
I mean, we've
we'll
been
bring
going
it back.
We've been going at it for a while now. I mean, I don't even know how long it's been.
I can talk about stupid shit all day, Ed. You have no idea.
I feel like Scott, we haven't even scratched the surface with him yet. Good guy. Met him selling cars back in the day. He worked at a radio station. What else have I missed? He's into mountain biking music. He's a guy that I knew when I met him back in the day. that I knew I could get along with the guy, and that's why I wanted to have him back. I can't remember. Did I reach out to you right for this, or did you reach out to me? I don't even remember.
Yeah, you said, hey, want to be on my podcast? I think you sent me, and I was like, yeah, why not? And this is back in March or April. You're like, October 12th. I'm like, all right, dude, cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have him back mid next year or mid next year sometime.
We'll go mountain biking in the spring or within the next few weeks because the trails are about to close up.
Oh,
and we'll run
okay.
We'll run some cameras and have a little fun with it.
I don't know if these are gonna work with these cameras that I'm using are gonna work, but
my cameras.
He's got a Hero 7 coming. You heard it here first.
Eventually,
Hero 7.
All right,
Scott.
Thank you very much for having me, Ed.
Everybody, Scott, let's do one quick send off. We don't have any alcohol left, do we? Everybody, we'll see you next time. My name's Ed Madison. This is the EMPP number. You know what? You're number 12.
1, 2.
I feel like you're number 12. Hold on. Let's celebrate this really quick. If you're number 12, all right? And then we're going to be done.
Real quick, I'm on YouTube. I try to put entertaining videos together every once in a while. I might take it serious someday. So if you want to laugh, there's some funny ones in there. Check it out. Also, at Honky Tonk Booger Picker on Instagram.
Best Instagram name ever. So I'm going to link all of Scott's information down below. Wait, can you do that? How did you do that?
Yeah. Check out the comments below and mash that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet,
pound it, baby.
Pound that button.
Pound that button. I'm going to put all of his links down below. Scott's a great guy. He's got some cool video out there, especially with his GoPros and his drone footage. We didn't get to drones. I wanted to talk about that.
Oh.
So next time, I'm going to get into some drone. I'm going to buy a drone. I'm going to reach out to you before I buy one.
Mess with mine.
So we're going to talk about that next time. He's number 12. I thought this year I'd have only 12, but I ended up, he's number 12 already. And is it October?
October 12th.
I'm looking at my watch.
October 12th. Number 12 on the 12th.
It's 12 on the 12th.
Yeah.
So he is my 12th podcast. We're going to keep doing this. I'm going to have him back next year. We're going to talk more about what he's been up to on his videos, on his drones. I'm going to get a drone by then. Hopefully we're going to have some new setup in here. Dude, I got to have you back, man.
Yeah, right on,
It's
brother.
so good seeing you.
Thanks for having me.
I'm serious, man. Scott Roland, link everything down below. We'll see you next time. All right.